Hello, and thanks for joining us in InfoFeed. These days, it seems as through every screen, every headline, and every conversation is consumed by a single inescapable reality: the war. All media outlets, all global leaders, and all our daily anxieties are now centered on this unfolding conflict. We begin today with a night of unprecedented fire in the Gulf, as a daring drone strike hits the heart of Kuwait's aviation hub, sending a massive fuel tank into an inferno. But that was the only beginning. As the sun rose, the focus shifted to a rain of steel over Israel, where a massive barrage of Iranian missiles and Hezbollah rockets have left a trail of destruction across multiple cities.
We often talk about the fog of war, but today, that fog is thick with the smell of kerosene in Kuwait and the sound of air raid sirens in Tel Aviv. As of this hour, we are tracking a massive, coordinated escalation in the 2026 Iran war. From a daring drone strike on Kuwait's international gateway to a multi-city missile barrage across Israel, the 5-day pause announced by Washington just 24 hours ago has been shattered by a reality that is far more violent than any headline. It began in the early hours of Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. While most of Kuwait City was asleep, a swarm of kamikaze drones bypassed regional air defenses, targeting the nation's aviation infrastructure. At least one drone successfully struck a major fuel storage tank at Kuwait International Airport. The impact triggered a massive explosion, sending a pillar of fire into the sky that could have been seen from miles away. The airport, which has been largely restricted since the war began in February 28, has now suspended all remaining emergency and military logistics flights. Kuwait's Civil Aviation Authority, through spokesperson Abdullah Al-Raji, confirmed material damage to the fuel farm, but for now, reports no casualties at the site. Almost simultaneously, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, issued a statement claiming responsibility for hitting military bases hosting U.S. forces across the Gulf, including Kuwait and Bahrain. But the drones in Kuwait were only the first act. As the morning progressed, the focus shifted to Israel, which faced its most complex missile attack of the month. Sirens wailed across central and northern Israel, from Tel Aviv to Haifa, and as far as South Beit Shemesh. Millions of civilians were forced into bomb shelters. It wasn't just Iran. Hezbollah launched over 55 separate attacks from southern Lebanon, using a mix of short-range Katyusha rockets and precision-guided munitions. Despite a high interception rate, the sheer volume of the barrage led to lethal leaks. A ballistic missile reportedly struck a residential neighborhood in Ramat Gan, causing several structural damage. Debris from an intercepted missile fell near the old city of Jerusalem, landing dangerously close to holy sites and raising fears over global heritage. In central Israel, a missile carrying a fragmenting warhead struck Benai Brak. Emergency services reported a 23-year-old man moderately wounded, while an infant and a 7-year-old boy were among those treated for light injuries. In the Upper Galilee, a 27-year-old woman named Nouriel Dubin was tragically killed when a Hezbollah rocket struck the Manenheim Junction. She was a youth counselor and combat reservist who was planning her wedding for later this year. The human cost is mounting. Since this morning's barrage, at least 13 people have been confirmed injured in Israel, adding to a conflict that has already displaced over 1 million people across Lebanon. The IRGC stated that this specific wave was a revenge for the killing of senior official Ali Larijani, who died in an Israeli strike on March 17th. In Jordan, shrapnel fell near Amman, while in Bahrain, air raid sirens sent residents into a panic as the Gulf's financial hubs were put on high alert. Because of the strike on Kuwait's fuel and the continued blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, Brent crude oil has surged to $114 per barrel this morning. Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf mocked the U.S. talk of peace, calling it a desperate attempt to manipulate oil markets while Iranian forces continue their remorseful punishment. While the Trump administration had been touting constructive talks, the Pentagon is reportedly mapping out a proportional response against the IRGC launch sites used in today's attacks. The UN warns of an alarming rate of displacement. In Lebanon alone, the number of people fleeing the south has topped 1 million, as Israeli forces push deeper into a buffer zone. We are now in the fourth week of a war, where Iran is using horizontal escalation, striking US allies like Kuwait to make the conflict too expensive for the West. Amidst the regional fire, the focus remains split. The UN reports continued high casualties in Gaza, proving that the heart of the instability remains as hot as ever. Today, from the burning tanks in Kuwait to the shattered windows in Tel Aviv, millions are united by a single, terrifying question. Where will the next one land?
Now we have arrived at a point where the distinction between a regional skirmish and a global catastrophe has vanished. When a drone in Kuwait can raise the price of bread in India, and the fear of a missile in Tel Aviv can stall the world's stock markets, is anyone truly safe? As the night falls and the sirens prepare to wail again, we are left wondering, is this the end of the beginning, or is it the beginning of the end? Facts inform, but stories transform.